Dogs barking at strangers. It's as classic as peanut butter and jelly or a squirrel taunting a dog from the safety of a tree branch. But have you ever wondered why they do it? Is it a fearless warning to intruders? A primal instinct kicking in? Or maybe they just want to say, "Hey, I see you, what's up?" Spoiler alert, it's a bit of all that and so much more. So grab a treat. Don't worry, this one's for you. And let's unravel the fascinating and sometimes hilarious truth about why dogs bark at strangers. First, let's talk about the instinctive guard dog within every canine. Even your tiny chihuahua, who weighs less than your coffee mug, has an inner security system set to maximum alert. Barking at strangers is often their way of saying, "Hey, I don't know you, and I'm keeping my human safe." Dogs are territorial creatures, and when someone unfamiliar enters their perceived turf, their barking is essentially a canine megaphone shouting, "This is my house, buddy." Imagine it as the dog equivalent of slamming a door shut and yelling, "No solicitors!" But not all barking is about protection. Some dogs bark at strangers out of pure excitement. Think of your overly social golden retriever who's practically wagging their tail off while barking. They're probably saying, "Oh my gosh, a new human. Do you have snacks? Can I sniff you? Are we best friends now?" These dogs aren't exactly guarding the house. They're hosting a party in their heads, and you're the guest of honor. Now, here's where things get a bit scientific and a tad mysterious. Dogs have an incredible sense of smell, roughly 10,000 to 100,000 times more sensitive than ours. When a stranger approaches, your dog isn't just looking at them. They're sniffing out everything from what they had for breakfast to whether they own a cat. If your dog detects something unusual or unfamiliar in their scent profile, that barking alarm might go off. It's as if your dog is saying, "Whoa, what's with the tuna sandwich smell? State your business." Of course, some dogs bark at strangers because they're scared. If your pup feels unsure or threatened, barking is their way of creating distance and asserting control over the situation. It's like when we awkwardly laugh or nervously fidget when we're uncomfortable. The difference? Dogs are way more straightforward about their feelings. No passive aggressiveness here, just pure, unfiltered, stay away from me energy. And let's not forget about socialization, or lack thereof. A dog that hasn't been exposed to different people, environments, and situations might bark at strangers simply because they're unfamiliar. It's like meeting someone who's never tried sushi. Their reaction might be one of caution or outright skepticism. Socialization teaches dogs that not every stranger is a threat and that the mailman is not, in fact, plotting to overthrow the household. Then there's learned behavior. If barking has ever gotten your dog what they wanted, like attention, treats, or even a laugh, they're likely to keep doing it. Dogs are smart, and they quickly pick up on what works. So, if your dog barked at a stranger once and you responded by giving them a treat to quiet down, guess what? You just accidentally rewarded the behavior. Congratulations, you've trained your dog to bark more. Speaking of training, barking at strangers can also be a sign of a dog taking their job too seriously. Certain breeds, like German Shepherds, Rottweilers, and Belgian Malinois, are natural-born protectors. They thrive on having a purpose, and barking is part of their job description. To them, every passerby is a potential suspect, and they're not shy about letting you know. But let's inject a little humor into this serious bark fest. Have you ever noticed that some dogs seem to bark at the most random strangers? The elderly lady with a walker? Bark. The guy in a hoodie? Bark. The toddler holding a balloon? Double bark. Sometimes it feels like your dog is playing a weird game of guess who. Maybe they have a secret set of criteria that even we can't understand. Hood? Suspicious. Sunglasses? Definitely shady. Carrying pizza? Intruder, or a potential friend with food. Interestingly, barking isn't just about the stranger. It's also about you. Dogs are incredibly attuned to their humans. If you're nervous, tense, or even just acting a little off, your dog might pick up on it and start barking to match your vibe. It's like when a friend starts whispering because they think something's wrong, and you're like, "Wait, should I be whispering too?" Your dog's bark might just be their way of saying, "Are we worried? Should I be worried? Okay, I'm worried." When dogs bark at strangers, their actions might seem random to us, but they are often rooted in their finely tuned survival instincts. Imagine being equipped with super senses but limited to communicating in barks. Dogs rely on their voice to express everything from curiosity to concern. It's not just barking for the sake of noise, it's their way of asking, "Who are you and why are you here?" Whether it's the delivery driver or a neighbor walking by, every unfamiliar presence demands investigation. To a dog, these barks are the equivalent of saying, "Explain yourself." Sometimes, dogs bark because they're simply doing what they believe is their sacred duty, protecting you. It's as if they've appointed themselves the head of the household security team. Even if you've never assigned them the role, they've taken it upon themselves to ensure no one sneaks up on you, not even the friendly pizza guy. This innate sense of responsibility is particularly strong in breeds like German Shepherds and Dobermans, but even the tiniest Yorkie can show impressive determination when sounding the alarm. Of course, barking isn't always serious business. In many cases, dogs are just looking for a little action. A stranger passing by offers a welcome break from their routine. Some dogs love the thrill of a new face, and barking is their way of saying, "Hey, I'm here, look at me." It's hard to blame them. Wouldn't you yell too if someone unexpected showed up to shake up your day? Their excitement is contagious, even if it's a bit noisy. Have you ever noticed that some dogs bark more when the stranger seems different? Perhaps they're wearing a hat, carrying an umbrella, or pulling a suitcase. Dogs are quick to spot anything out of the ordinary, and sometimes it's these unusual details that trigger a response. To your dog, that stranger isn't just a person. They're a walking puzzle to be solved. Once the barking starts, it's almost like they're saying, "Wait a minute, what's up with that hat? Can you explain yourself?" Interestingly, the tone and type of bark can differ depending on the situation. A deep, sustained bark might signal a warning, while short, high-pitched barks could be an invitation to play. If you listen closely, you might notice your dog's stranger bark is different from their cat-in-the-yard bark. It's like they have their own secret language, one that we're just scratching the surface of understanding. And the more you observe, the better you'll get at decoding their messages. Lastly, let's not forget that barking can be contagious. One dog barking often sets off a chain reaction, especially in neighborhoods or homes with multiple dogs. It's like they're all chiming in to add their opinions, even if they're not sure what they're barking about. This phenomenon has a certain comedic charm, as if your dog is saying, "Oh, we're barking now? Okay, I'll join in." It's a reminder of the pack mentality that's deeply ingrained in their DNA, even if it occasionally drives us humans a little nuts. So how can you manage barking at strangers? The key lies in understanding the root cause. If your dog is barking out of fear, work on building their confidence through positive reinforcement. If it's excitement, teach them to stay calm and focus on you instead of the stranger. And if it's that territorial instinct kicking in, set boundaries and let them know that not every stranger is a threat to your kingdom. Think of it as turning your dog from a suspicious guard into a friendly neighborhood greeter. But let's be honest, some level of barking is just part of the doggy deal. It's how they communicate, and it's a reminder of their loyal, protective nature. Sure, it can be annoying when you're trying to binge watch your favorite show and your dog loses their mind at the Amazon delivery person. But deep down, isn't it kind of sweet to know that your dog cares so much about you that they're willing to sound the alarm for even the smallest perceived threat? At the end of the day, dogs bark at strangers for a mix of reasons: instinct, excitement, fear, or simply because they feel like it. It's one of the many quirks that make dogs so endearing and endlessly entertaining. So, the next time your dog barks at a stranger, take a moment to appreciate their unique way of seeing the world. And maybe, just maybe, offer them a treat for being such a good, albeit noisy, protector. After all, they're only trying to do their job, and they're doing it with love, loyalty, and a whole lot of wuss.